Brilliance Audio presents On Highland Time by Lexi Post, performed by Claire Kilpatrick. Diana Montgomery reiterated the first priority of her assignment as she stood at the edge of an open grassy area, a quarter-mile away from an unadorned medieval castle. As an agent of Time Weavers Incorporated, it was her job to return history to the way it was before the disruptors fiddled with it. In this case, she must ensure the chief of this clan died in the upcoming battle. She gazed at the square structure at the top of a gentle rise. It was a warm, sandy brown, smothered in greenery, but whether it was covered in moss or vines, she couldn't tell from where she stood. It exuded strength, protection, and longevity. Behind her was a forest, quiet and still, but the land in front of her bustled with activity, from the men walking the tall outer walls to the carts rolling through the tunnel-like entrance. What her mother wouldn't have given to see this. Though Mom had been a professor of English literature, Sir Walter Scott had been her favorite author. She shook off the bittersweet memories. So this is what the Scottish Highlands really look like. It was far more beautiful than the images of Scotland in the 14th century implanted in her mind by old Arthur, one of TWI's support team. He sported a long grey beard that made her think of Merlin, and he treated her and the other agents like granddaughters. His hypnotic eyes were his own form of magic, as they were how he transferred his research of time periods into their brains, which on her current assignment included the Scottish Gaelic language. As the most experienced of the 5 female time travelers now operating out of her family's mansion on the New England coast, she'd been sent on this particular mission. In the 21st century, there was no longer a country called Scotland, or even Great Britain. As of yesterday, it was all New France, thanks to the disruptors, though only TWI's employees recognized the sudden switch. The change had been so significant that even the land around her home, their district headquarters, was no longer owned by her and was cluttered with run-down houses. After her parents died 2 years ago, Stonehaven felt too large for one person, so she offered her home up to her fellow TWI agents who were scattered across America. This gave her fellowship when she was actually home, and more when the TWI staff also joined her, providing a warm sense of community like she'd never had. With this disruption, they were all lucky that her family's ownership of the house hadn't changed. It literally brought home how connected all events in history were, as this was the closest the disruptors had come to affecting her personally. She had a lot at stake. She studied the area around her. Despite her training to be objective, she found it breathtaking. Everything was so vibrant. The green grass, the muddy road, even the golden stonework of the castle shimmered, as if in her time, after 7 centuries of human life later, the world had been dulled with use. The earth appeared fresh, renewed, which she hadn't noticed with any other mission. Then again, it could simply be the country. She'd never been to Scotland. Sensing the pace of life, she started forward at a slow walk toward the road. But before she took 10 steps, the ground beneath her feet vibrated and the sound of thundering horses roared closer. She ducked into the shadows of the tall evergreens to wait while a couple dozen men raced past, kicking dust and sod into the air. The group slowed as it approached the stone archway of the castle's outer wall, and the carts stopped, making way for the new arrivals to enter immediately. Now what was that about? She rose from her crouch and walked toward the road again. With old Arthur's knowledge in her head, she maneuvered herself to blend in with one of the carts to avoid looking like she traveled alone. As she neared the entrance, the thundering sounded once again. The cart she walked with was pulled forward, and the great iron portcullis slammed down behind her.